Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. This video is the second part of the build series on the BF110 C/D from Italeri, the 1/48 scale kit. And just to run you through what this is going to be when it's finished, because I completely forgot to do that in the last video. When it's finished, it's going to be a crash diorama. I did put up a picture in the one of the last videos, the unboxing video of this kit. I put up a picture showing you what it's going to be, but I'll put it up again now. So as you can see, there's BF110 crashed in a field and some Tommy soldiers posing around it to take a picture. So that's pretty much what this is going to be. That's why I haven't put the men into the cockpit, because in the picture they're not in there, so I'm guessing so yeah, I think it's coming along quite nicely. A few little problems, obviously. I've got to sand down the joins and everything else, and a few little mistakes that I made. As you can, I'm not sure if you can see that actually, I've picked out the straps in a brown, so that looks quite nice, and gone over the control, like there's not some sort of control surface button there with a bit of cowling, wire cowling going along there that I've painted up, picked out in black, so that looks quite nice. But yeah, so in this episode we'll be going on to the wings, I do believe. Let's just double check. So what I've done, if you didn't see the last video, is I picked out in the instructions what part, so what episode, so as it says there, part 1, and then this episode we are going to be doing part 2, so the engines and the wings. So yeah, what I'll do then is I'll cut out all the bits, clean them all up, and come back to you when I've got all the parts. So I'll see you in a sec. So I've now cut all the parts off the sprues, and yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'll put it all together, and then we'll get back on to the next part. Right, so I've glued all this together. The two wing halves and the wheel, the part in the wheel bay is now done. I've cleaned up all the joins. Yes, it's a bit messy here, as you can see, but I've cleaned up best I can. Probably paper that back a bit with a sanding stick. But yeah, so they're nicely together. Each of them are all glued up. Taking all the nibs off and everything else, so it looks quite nice. Some nice detail on the flaps and the panels, so it looks quite nice. And then you've got the rear tail flaps and extensions there. It looks very nice, nice detail. That went together really nicely. So yeah, and what I've done here, I've sanded down the join a bit. Yes, there's a bit of a gap. Well, it's a bit of a hole really, so I'm going to be filling that with a bit of sprue goo, and started to fill that there and there, so I'll be sanding that down and knitting in all that up. So the next part is putting the wings on to the fuselage, as well as the tail, and then putting the engines together. So I'll get that sorted and then we'll come back to you. So what I've now done is I've glued the wing, the left-hand wing, onto the fuselage, and as you can see, there's a few little gaps. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in a bit of sprue glue, wait for that to set while I'm putting the other wing on, and then sand it down, and then it should be nice and crisp. Okay, so what I've done is I've put sprue glue on the two parts that I messed up with, and on the tops of the wings I've patched them with sprue glue as well, as you can see there, and a bit there as well. As you can see, actually, I'll just point out, I accidentally broke off the barrel of the machine gun, so what I probably should have done is left that until the end and added it with the cockpit canopy. That was a bit stupid of me, really. I didn't really think about that. So what I'll do right at the end, I'll re-glue that on just with a bit of extra thin, and it should be all right. But yeah, as you can see along the seams of the wings, I've patched the gaps that are severe, and that should set nicely, and I'll sand that back and use a knife on some parts where I can. But underneath, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a bit of sprue glue here and a bit there, maybe a bit here as well. So I'll just go through with you what I do. I've got this old Tamiya extra thin pot I've turned into some sprue glue, and what I've used, actually, instead of extra thin, I had an old, well, it wasn't that old, but a pot of Revel plastic cement, and I just used that with a bit of sprue, and it works just as well. And what I do is I go in with a cocktail stick, dip it into the sprue glue, and just go along the seams of where I want to fill, and it just fills it nicely. And if you let it to dry, really, people say you should let it dry for 24 hours to make sure the glue evaporates and leaves all the polystyrene plastic there. Yes, theoretically you should. I leave it probably for a couple of hours. If I can leave it overnight, I do. I'll show you an example in a second about with one that I've left overnight that's come out really well. That's on a figure, actually, because I don't just use this to fill gaps. I also use it to rebuild parts of figures if I need to, which I'll show you in a second. So yeah, just going in with the sprue glue. Doesn't really matter if it's messy, because it can all be tidied up at the end. So just go in here. Yeah, you don't want to go over too much of the fine detail, because you don't want to ruin it, because when you come to take this off, you don't want to take off any of the detail. So as you can see, that's now nicely and all in the gaps. So just to give you an example, I'll turn this back over. I'll put that Give me a minute. Okay, so just to give you an example, what I've done here on this figure, I needed this arm to be higher. I'll just use this pencil. I need this arm to be higher so it would fit onto this ammo box. This is for the truck and gun dyer, so he's sitting on there like that. But the arm wouldn't go up, it would have a massive gap. So what I've done is I've glued the arm at the top and then I've filled the rest of it with sprue glue. Yes, it looks a bit messy and not very nice, but once that's been tidied up and painted, you won't notice it. So yeah, that's come out quite nicely. And another figure that I'm working on as well, I need to put a few more layers on this. I bent this leg back. This is a resin figure actually I'm using for another dyer. To fill this knee joint, I've just put some sprue glue in there, and I'll be putting a couple more layers on that just to fill it out because that looks a bit flat. So yeah, it works. It's multi-purpose I use it for. Obviously most people use it just to fill gaps, which obviously that's one of the things you can use it for, and do use it for, because it is very good with that. But it does have other uses as well if needs be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this to dry on this part, and while we're waiting for this to dry, I'll start building the engines. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this to one side and then come back to you when I've got all the parts of the engines out on the bench, and we'll get doing that. So I'll see you in a sec. So I've cut all the parts of the sprues and all the nibs off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one engine together on camera just to show you what I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to put the other one together off camera. So with terms of the propeller, as you can see, that's normal. But in the photographs that I'm basing this diorama off of, as you can see in this one especially, you can see that the propeller blades are bent sideways, which basically means when the aircraft crashed, the blades were still spinning. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bend these back with my fingers, just ease them back. Don't go too far, because you probably will snap them. The difference between this plastic and plastics such as Airfix is that Airfix is a bit brittle, depends on the scale really, but you just want to be careful not to bend them. If they're not bendable like these ones are, what you want to do is use a bit of heat. You can use a lighter, in this case this is a gas lighter, and a bit of wire or something. Heat the wire up and then go on the back of the propeller and just ease it back with the heat, and that will bend it. I did try that on this one, as you can see here, but I didn't realise that these ones were a lot easier to bend than the Airfix plastic. So as you can see, that one's breaking, so I'm going to need to sort that one out. So that's a bit of a mistake that I made, but at the end of the day it'll be on the ground so you won't see it, so it's not really a problem. But with this one, all you do is just bend the plastic with your fingers, ease it into shape you want, and yeah, so I'm gonna continue doing this and then get to the stage where we need to start building the engine. So I'll catch you guys in a second. So I've now bent this propeller back and I've gotten to a stage where I can start building one of the engines. So I've now put the engine together. It's a bit on the rough side, as you can see the seams and everything, but that will all be sanded down. And yet again, I made a mistake when I was cutting the nibs off from the sprue. I've cut in a bit too harsh there, so that will need filling. I need to stop doing that, but it's not a problem, easily fixable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the other engine done, and then I think we'll wrap it up for this video. So yeah. Okay, so I've now put both of the engines together, as you can see, and the props are bent back. There's the mistake that I made on that one, but that will tidy up quite nicely once that's done. I'm probably going to clean these up in the next episode, or do it in between, so then it's done for the next one. But as you can see, the sprue goo is pretty much nearly dry. I'll probably get this done, well, most of this done before the next video, but yeah, so that's nearly dry. I'll go through with you what I'm going to be doing with that in the next part. So now I'm just going to put the tail on, and yeah. So that fits in quite nicely there. So it's coming along nicely. Yes, I've made my mistakes with it. The parts that I would have done differently so far is I wouldn't have used heat. I would have checked if I could have bent them back first rather than messing that one up. I would have put the machine gun on last. But yeah, so far it's coming along quite nicely. Yes, it looks a bit messy, but that will be tidied up before coming to painting. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already, and press the bell icon if you want to see the rest of this build and more videos like it. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Keep modelling. Bye bye.